If asked, who wants to be holy? I suspect that not many hands would shoot up. But why? Because holiness seems synonymous with words like boring and too churchy. Or at the very least, holiness is unattainable, or for someone else, like a nun or a priest. St. Francis de Sales said, "It is an error, or rather a heresy, to say holiness is incompatible with a life of a soldier, a tradesman, a prince, or a married woman. In truth, holiness is far more accessible and full of adventure than we imagine. We often think of being holy in terms of being good, doing good things, and avoiding sin. Well, that's part of it, but being holy means conforming our life to God who is holy. In our first reading, God said, "Be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." Being holy is primarily about a relationship. Our only qualification for holiness is that Christ has chosen us. St. Paul wrote, "He chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and blameless before him." St. Francis de Sales described holiness as an honest love of God and a nimbleness of spirit. He compared a worldly person to someone recovering from sickness, where they walk only when necessary. Their pace is slow and hesitant, even limping. But a holy person who loves God is healthy and can walk, run, and leap towards God. This is why Psalm 119 says, "I will run the way of your commandments, for you will broaden my heart." Holiness is not restricted to a special few. It is an offer that is made available to every human soul. In the parable about the great feast, when the original guests declined their invitation, the host ordered, "Go out to the highways and hedge groves, and make people come in, that my house may be filled." Even St. Paul flung open the doors of the church when he wrote, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, nor slave nor free man, nor male nor female. You are all one in Christ Jesus." This means holiness is accessible to all of us, if we want it. We probably know in some way that we're called to holiness, but we struggle to respond. We feel the challenge of the call, but see the obstacles, so it is easy to delay and avoid a wholehearted response. Yet the very things we think are obstacles are the very means God is giving us to draw us to depend more deeply on Him. Think of St. Paul, who begged God 3 times to remove the thorn in his flesh. God's response was, "No, but my grace is sufficient for you." What Paul struggled with was his path to holiness. The letter to the Hebrews says, "Without holiness no one shall see the Lord." In other words, if we want to enter heaven, then holiness is not an option, for only saints reside in heaven. The whole purpose of our creation, the reason for Jesus' death on the cross, was to fully unite us with God. The sooner we're transformed, the happier and more fulfilled we'll be. For St. Irenaeus said, "The glory of God is a human, fully alive." Why is holiness important today? Because God is less important in our world now. We are up against an opponent called relativism. Relativism says that God is one option among many. The choice for God and holiness, however, are not trivial like our preferences in food or music. Holiness means that there is a purpose to our lives, because there is one who created us with a purpose. Is holiness boring? Well, you be the judge. Relativism versus holiness is like the difference in excitement levels between a lazy river at the water park and whitewater rafting. Relativism is comfortable because it doesn't ask us to conform our life to Christ. In fact, it calls us to do nothing. Holiness conforms us to Christ, whose life was packed with miraculous adventure and challenges, and it ended with the reward of resurrection. Life after relativism just ends. It's game over. It never seeks anything beyond its lazy drift through life. Ask the saints if their lives were full of adventure. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati was a mountain climber. St. Paul was shipwrecked 3 times and spent a night floating in the sea. St. Joan of Arc was a 17-year-old girl that commanded the French army. And Venerable Bishop Frederick Baraga rode an ice floe on Lake Superior, and he canoed across Lake Michigan in a storm. Will we strive for holiness or settle for relativism? For St. Augustine said, "To fall in love with God is the greatest of all romances, to seek him the greatest adventure, to find him the greatest human achievement." Besides, asked St. Augustine, what do you really possess if you possess not God?